Howdy and hello, my little monsters. Welcome to the second episode of Inside the Rack, a not podcast that I do when I'm tired and not currently deadlifting. Today is deadlift day. It's right around 1 p.m. and I'm about to deadlift. I don't want to deadlift right now, which is always a bad sign. I love deadlifting, but bad sleeps are bad, and frankly, I'm scared. I'm always a little scared to deadlift. Not because I might get hurt. That's never my concern. My concern is that I won't finish the workload that I need to do today. I honestly don't know how I got the bench record when I'm a deadlift specialist. Anywho, I'm off to try to get 20 reps at 462 pounds, or 205 kilograms, or something like that. Even though I'm not doing accessories this peak because my biceps are just screaming at me night and day, this will probably take me about 2 hours to get these 20 reps. That's like math amount of reps per minute. Like a rep every 6 minutes, I want to say, is the math. Yeah, that computes. Bork me, I'm tired. Anyways, see you in a couple hours. Okay, so I'm done 12 reps. I'm pretty damn sure that I'm going to get through all 20 of them. Things are going pretty well right now, so I think the caffeine has probably kicked in, which is nice. So I'm going to go do some more reps, and it'll be done. And it's done! 20 goddamn reps. Now I actually have to unload the bar and actually finish writing the script for today and stop staring at the microphone like a giant robo-wiener that it is, except it's a robo-wiener that picks up tympanic motion and then makes it into electronic things to then transcribe it onto the hard drive in a series of ones and zeros. I gotta go. So, cool story. The deadlifts actually only took me an hour, which is one deadlift every 3 minutes, which is actually not bad when you're doing 92% of your 1 RM. So, last episode, which was the first episode, I said I had a really bad squat day. The day after, I had a really good sleep and I hit the rack again. So even though it was bench day, I managed to get 9 more squats, 8 of them as doubles, at 376. So that's doubling the volume I had from the bad day and then adding 1, because that's how math. See, I'm good at math. I'm not dumb. I know math. Then I went on to do my full bench volume, which was a very nice 230 pounds for 20 reps. And because I never do it and I had a good sleep, I went for a deadlift workup. Since one night of good sleep is all I need to apparently fire on all cylinders. I got a 487 at the end of its... okay, I am dumb. I can't read. The script is right there on my screen and I can't read it. So it's because I don't know where to actually look, so I'm just going to look right at the camera. I ended up getting a 487 at the end of all that, but I stopped at my knees on the 497 as usual. I'm getting really sick of not hitting my comp PR at will, and I honestly don't know where my deadlift or my squat are going to be in competition for Westerns. The next day, I worked my way up to a beautiful full pause 253 bench, which is my comp PR. Of course, my arms were absolutely on fire at this point, so I decided not to get greedy and go for the 259, which I've landed a couple of times now. I decided to call it, move on to my peak squat, and yeah, my arms, of course, broke down. I got the 284 for a nice 384 for a nice single, and I'm 100% sure that I could have gotten a 394 or a 407, but I'm also pretty sure I would have gone to the hospital for the tendons ripping in my arms. So I was horribly disappointed because my quads were absolutely perfect. My back was nice and tight. I assume I'm putting video here so that you can see it and be like, no, that's not how people squat. Well, that's how I squat, okay? Hitching is my brand. So I called it there. Sunday, which was Halloween, was supposed to be deadlift day. Due to my arm pain, though, I just couldn't justify it. So today, which is supposed to be my 1RM test / rack pull day, was my deadlift peak volume day, because like you move it by one. Okay. So instead of this day, it's this day. It's pretty straightforward. It's not hard. And well, I did it. Behold me doing it. Tomorrow, we will see if my ass tendons feel good, and if they do, I will once again try to hit my previous 1RM of 496, which I keep telling myself is actually 501 because I didn't make the 507 in competition, although it was really close. So my actual 1RM is 496, but I call it 501. For today's, not exactly content, but this is just me talking, so you aren't entirely bored with me talking about my lifts, I will now rail on showing up at the gym even though you don't want to. For me, I always want to show up to the gym. If I was on steroids, I would be here for 5 hours a day, every day. Unfortunately, I am natural and have less testosterone than a natal female, which I'll get into in a minute. I love being in the gym. Because unlike most other aspects, this is an absolutely quantifiable progress bar. As a video gamer, I like watching the numbers go up. The gym is just a video game that you do with your body. But it also doesn't suck like most sports games, like the one I worked at EA in Burnaby. Screw that place. Never again. When I don't want to be in the gym, that rare time, I do it anyways. By the end of it, I'm usually so full of adrenaline that I'm all twitchy and freaky and have neck veins. Picture here of me at the end of my session today. And I feel a million times better than not going to the gym. Nobody is forcing me to be here. I can walk away anytime I want. And I think that helps. The last dentist I went to, he asked about flossing because, of course, he did. All dentists do. And I said I hadn't been. And he said, okay, well, try sometimes. So I started doing it like every Saturday. I don't know why, but him letting me off the hook and not making me feel like shit about it helped me actually get my head straight and want to do it, or maybe I wasn't rebelling against it. So it's kind of the same as the gym. When you want to do it, not because you're being told to do it, it helps. And I usually try to tell my clients that too. If they cancel on me, it's not the end of the world. Life greater than sign the gym. Don't skip all of them, but don't freak out if you miss one or two. It happens. Just keep plugging away until the heavy circles are lifted. And on to today's trans content, because apparently hitching isn't my brand. Being trans is my brand. Not surprising. So I get my blood tested every 6 months to a year. I have to, of course, check my creatinine and electrolyte levels. Back in 2019, my potassium was like 0, so I kept fainting. That summer really sucked. Anyways, and I also get my estrogen and testosterone levels checked, should I ever need to prove to anybody exactly where I am. So my creatinine, it's 105 out of a maximum of 90, so that's bad. My kidneys haven't shut down from overdosing on most of my medications, or the alcohol consumption, or the diabetic levels of sugar I consumed as a teenager. So I'm probably fine at 105 out of 90. I assume my kidneys are invincible at this point. Now, my estrogen is 10 out of 24. So that's relatively low, but I'm almost 40. So it's essentially just maintenance at this point. The amount that the doctors have me on is what you would consider for post-menopause, to my understanding. So it's like, yeah, just maintain this and you don't get hot flashes. It doesn't matter. Like, my body is shaped how it's shaped, and that's not going to change at this point. But what you actually care about, and the entire reason why you're here right now, because this is super important to the 12 people who watched my previous video, is my testosterone levels. Since I'm a powerlifter and I cheat simply by being me. Well, the last 3 times that I've been tested, it's 0.2 nanomoles per liter. For a male, they usually have 10 to 35. For natal women, about 0.5 to 2.5 nanomoles. This means I have less than basically any woman out there, okay? This means it is far harder for me to build muscle that I didn't already have. Now, if you're wondering on the biology about why it is so low, here is my understanding. The testicles and the pituitary are responsible for testosterone production. Quote, for men, the testicles produce so much that the pituitary essentially stops trying. So you remove the testicles and your body stops making tests entirely. Natal women, on the other hand, don't have testicles, so the pituitary has a lifelong job. It's always going to produce it instead. Since I had the joy of producing tests from the wrong spot for about 20 years of my life, my pituitary doesn't generate any testosterone. Ergo, very low levels, and it's never going to get any higher than that. Do you feel educated now? Probably not, because let's face it, haters are going to say that what happened during puberty is all that matters. Maybe they're right. Also, I looked it up during the scripting, and I'm an idiot. It's the adrenal glands, not the pituitary. That's why I kept doing this. It's just the bunny ears. It's a quote of me being dumb. Good thing that nobody actually cares, because y'all tuned out like a long time ago to rail on me in the comments. Speaking of which, make sure to leave hate comments, because like it totally helps the algorithm and such. Okay, so my body is shutting down since the adrenaline from the deadlifting is done with. I need to get some protein in me. Oh God, it's been over half an hour. My gains! No! And probably get on the treadmill for a bit because my virus lungs are still nowhere near recovered. For the love of God, just get your vaccines, people. It sucked getting it. So, yeah, I'm going to do that. And also the Beelzebub mod really sucks for Diablo 1. If you're a warrior, just don't even bother. Just play the rogue or the sorcerer because you're not going to be able to actually get to Diablo because it's just not balanced. Shalom, my little monsters. Something, Gorilla Mind, Gorilla Mode, nootropic formula now in stores, so on and so forth. Rower, 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 rower.